Hello everyone, my name is AQUA and welcome back to another Figma review. It has been a while since I've done a Figma, but today we are taking a look at the re-release of AQUA from Konosuba. I almost forgot the name of it. But here we have AQUA. I've heard that she is one of the best Figma out there, and it's pretty much her only action figure iteration. So I'm going to be doing a couple of Konosuba figure reviews for a little bit at this point. So without further ado, let's take her out and see how she looks. Alright, so here we have Figma AQUA, and I gotta say, there is an issue with this already. I don't know if it's just mine, but this figure is lopsided. Don't know why though. It's a weird issue. You can see it, right? You can see it on the screen. It's lopsided for some reason. Is this figure supposed to be like that? Like, I've been trying to stand her upright and everything. Like, that works a little better, so there's that. I don't know. In terms of the aesthetic and everything, all that kind of stuff, I think she looks pretty decent. I have no issue whatsoever with her. And what the heck? This hair is supposed to move. Oh, that's weird. The way they did this is weird. Huh. So Figma has... I have a history of Figma, but I own a couple of Figma. The last Figma I'm pretty sure I reviewed was the Emmy Figma. And that one I broke the finger of super easily. So hopefully I don't break anything for this one. But I will say there's already an issue with this. Right here. There's a blue paint mark from probably the collar here on the actual neck. So that is an issue of the manufacturing and the QC. And it's pretty prominent. So it is super visible to the human eye, especially if you're super close to it, which is an issue in my opinion. Quality control issues are always a pain in the ass, in my opinion. So yeah, in terms of aesthetics, she looks pretty nice. I like it. In terms of height, she is 5¼ inches all the way to the top of her head, 5½ all the way to the top of her ponytail thingy. So it's nice. That doesn't move whatsoever. And it seems that there's like paint coming off from somewhere. Aesthetic, it's fine. I don't think it's the greatest, but she looks good enough. Mine does have an imperfection with the neck, so there is that. Articulation. For this figure, she can look down about that far, which is actually pretty decent, and look upward about that far, which with the articulation for the hair, it actually works pretty decent. Side to side movement, and of course a swivel, because the way that they do the neck joints, it's kind of like an L shape where it goes inward and it goes towards the actual back of the head, not into the actual head. So they still have a hinge section here, but they have the movement that allows it to swivel side to side. For the arms, of course, we have hinges that allow her to do a T-pose almost perfectly. A swivel for the torso right here, which allows her to move forward that far, backwards this far. Not the greatest. There's no ab crunch whatsoever, so that is a bummer, which they definitely could have done it here, but sure. Is there a bicep swivel? Feels like it does feel like a bicep swivel, so you can definitely do that. A single jointed elbow and a hinge wrist, which is common stuff for figures this size. For the legs, she can do the splits pretty decently. They're okay, about 90-degree angles, a little bit more than that. For kicking forward, not too much. They are drop-down hips though, so you can definitely drop them down a little more. This is the difference between drop-down and not drop-down. You can definitely not see her panties anymore. So there is that. That is with the drop-down hips. And also popping the leg out. But it's pretty easily to pop them back on. She does have an ass, which is the usual gag of the actual anime itself. So there is that. So yeah, she is decent. She has a single jointed knee, which doesn't look the greatest. The plastic doesn't match. A single foot hinge, which is okay. It does swivel side to side if you wanted to, or rock it back side to side. So yeah, there is that. Now, she has okay articulation. She has pretty standard articulation, but not the greatest for Figma. Although she is like pretty much accurate to the source material, there is a couple of issues with this figure already, and she's still lopsided. So without further ado, let's take a look at the accessories real quick. Alright, so in terms of the accessories, Figma still doesn't like disappoint with them because there's actually quite a handful of accessories. So starting off with the faceplates, we have a grinning, sort of laughing faceplate, which is really nice. I like it. I like the way it's sculpted, and I like the way that it's painted. A screaming faceplate where she's like always screaming and wondering why she's always useless. And the Good Smile bonus faceplate that came with my pre-order, which is just a smiling faceplate with her eyes closed. Makes me wonder why they didn't include that just as a whole thing. Her two fans that she uses throughout the series, of course, and another thing with the actual water spouts that come out of those fans when she does the little magic trick. There's like a fire fist if you wanted to use that for her when she's like fighting for her life. A flower, which is actually beautiful. I think you can swap it out with the staff. So the staff does allow you to swap out the flower for the bulb to the blossom flower, which is really nice. Speaking of the staff, it is nicely sculpted. It's just a pure white plastic section, which is the usual. And of course, you can take off the bottom piece to attach to the hands that she uses. Speaking of hands, she has two closed fist hands, which is really nice. Always needed to have this for any type of figure. Two holding hands for the staff, two thumbs up, and of course the fan holding hands, which is really nice. I like it. She has a pretty decent amount of accessories. For the usual Figma, she also comes with a wrist peg if you ever end up breaking one of those, which I think all companies should always include no matter what. And of course, a arm holding postability thing, and a stand for the Figma. So this is really nice. Always love it when companies include stands, and Figma is notorious for doing so. So yeah, overall a pretty decent amount of accessories for this figure. So I'm gonna jump into my final thoughts for this. I think this figure is fine. I do have some issues with it, and it not having an app crunch, and also it still being lopsided. I'm gonna figure that out. If in the poses in the video you see her upright, that means I fixed it. But at the same time, that kind of holds me back from actually putting her at a really high spot. Although the articulation is pretty decent, I do like it. The head articulation while being on a hinge, very amazingly done. Love it when Figma does that. Arm articulation is great. Chest articulation, it's okay. No app crunch, of course. Leg articulation is decent, not the greatest, but it's pretty good. Accessories, amazing. Pricing, this figure was around $60 if I recall correctly. $55 at the least. I'm not sure if it's currently available in the Good Smile website, but I think Big Bad Toy Store or any other place like that probably still has it for pre-order. So there's that. You won't get the Good Smile bonus because of it, but that's the usual. But yeah, I'm gonna give her an 8 out of 10. The only downside for me is, like, again, some of the articulation and just the quality control for my own figure. But if it was upright and it had no issue on the neck, it would probably still be a 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's pretty much all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this figure in itself. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I know some people really do love this figure, and I'm glad that I finally started collecting Konosuba stuff after so long. But yeah, besides that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.